Before we get too far into this, let me tell you a little bit about the strategy behind this type of an ad and what the heck are we even doing placing an ad on Facebook, right? So the individual who sent this over to me, her name is Toni, and let's see. And the type of ad that she wrote is something called a story ad. So if you're not familiar with this, write this down. It's called a story ad. Now, let's think through the psychology of why we're writing this type of ad to start with, right? Like, let's frame it out a little bit. So on Facebook, this is where this ad's going to go. It's going to go on Facebook, and it'll probably show up on Instagram as well. When you place an ad on Facebook, you also have an option to place an ad on Instagram because guess what? Facebook owns Instagram. So on Facebook and Instagram, and I want you guys to type back to me in the chat, what are people primarily going on Facebook and Instagram for? What are they looking for? Like what's the primary purpose of these platforms? Just like social, right? It's a social platform, so connection with friends, socializing, seeing kind of what your friends are up to, right? Like just, Alexa says beauty or products, entertainment, communicating with friends, following famous people. That's a good one. Seeing new pictures of friends and family. See, Javier just basically nailed it. Social updates. News, yeah, but that would fall more maybe like in Twitter, but yeah. Okay, so a majority of people, what we've said is some sort of social interaction, right? That's probably the best umbrella to put this on. Terry says spying on the kids. So some sort of social interaction, right? It's social, right? You're looking for a little photo of Aunt Joey or Aunt Betty, right? And what's Aunt Betty up to, right? Or Uncle Andy or whatever, right? Or my cousin or whatever, right? Okay, so why do we write then something called a story ad? Well, the reason is because if I just place an ad, like a lot of times people go place an ad that just says, for instance, learn how to, whatever, right? Like make money on the internet or learn how to build an email list, right? It's so overdone that people just keep scrolling. And here's the other thing, is Facebook's algorithm isn't really pumped about you posting these kind of things. What they want most often is self-expression, and they want engagement, right? They're looking for interaction, right? Engagement, interaction. This is what Facebook is looking for. Their algorithm is geared towards this. So rather than just making it an obvious advertising, here's the strategy. And it's coined by, I can't remember the guy who coined this, but it's creating a Trojan horse ad, meaning you're masking your advertising in what appears to be just a normal human post. Just a normal post, right? So I'm going to use a selfie style image and I'm going to tell a story, right? So that people who resonate with my story, they're going to read it. They're going to become a little involved. They're going to become a little interested, right? Now, will I shift gears at some point to talking more about the actual pitch that I have? Yeah, of course. But initially, my ad is going to be focused on getting people locked in and engaged in a story so that, and here's my phone. Now, look at me on your screen right now. Everybody just look at me right now. When I open up Facebook, for instance, okay? So when I open up Facebook, and here's a little post by Legendary Marketer, right? So I open up Facebook, there's a little post, there we are, there's Jackie. All right, now if I go and place an ad, Facebook's algorithm is gonna score my ad, it's called a relevant score. It's gonna score my ad based on how long my ad is showing on a screen. So if my ad is really long, some people say, wow, who would ever want to read a really long 500-word ad about me? But if my ad is really long, my ad, guess what, sits open on somebody's screen a lot longer. So I get a higher relevance score because people are actually sitting on there saying, wow, this is interesting. I really resonate with this, right? Raise your hand. Click the hand raise button on Zoom if you understand what I just said there. Joy, Bruce, Kathleen, Marsha, John, Laxman, William. Okay, I can't read all these names, but okay. So the theory, right, behind what we're doing in this type of advertisement is we're sort of coming in and it makes it appear as if it's not really an ad. Makes it look like it's just like, oh, who's this Matt guy, right? Who's this Ann lady that's posting this stuff? Who's Terry? Who's Brad? Who's Magdalena, right? And it will sort of, so what it does for people is they're like, huh, this is interesting. I guess I'll scroll through and read this all, okay? All right. So I'm going to go through this ad. I'm going to go through line by line. You can ask any questions that you want. Okay, I have a Q&A section. I have my chat open. I will see your question. I will answer your question as we go through this, all right? So if you have a question, type it in. That's the whole point of this Marketers Club, okay? There's very few communities online where you can hop on a live webinar on Monday afternoon, or I don't know what time it is where you guys live or where you're from, where you can type in questions about actual advertisements to somebody who's got a decade worth of experience, has spent tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds maybe, or overlooked it, or overlooked the campaign, launched hundreds and hundreds of campaigns where you can just ask questions, okay? There's nothing I haven't seen on Facebook ads. There's nothing I haven't seen on just plain advertising, okay? All right, here we go. So she starts off her ad saying, it's crazy how going on a simple vacation with your friends can change your perspective on life. Sounds strange, I know, but that's exactly what happened to me. All right. Just as a tiny little thought here, Toni, one thing that you can do is use more contractions, right? So where you say, that is exactly what happened to me, I would just say, that's exactly what happened to me, right? If I was talking to, and this is super important, everybody listening, ads are not about being grammatically correct. You don't want to have misspellings in your ads, obviously. But you want your ads to read how they would sound if you were just talking to your cousin or your best friend, right? That's how they need to read. So whenever I'm writing an email or ad copy, I'm always saying it out loud. So I would say, it sounds a little bit strange, but that's exactly what happened to me. Okay, got it? All right. And I like this lead in. It seems fine. Just a little over a year ago, my spouse and I went on our first 7-day vacation together in I don't know, ever. We've only been together for 19 years, so that's normal, right? Haha. I like this a lot. Now, notice what she does here with the parentheses, okay? Now, I would even maybe put this on its own line. But with the parentheses, this is very strategic, and nice job, Toni. This is strategic in that what she's doing is she's giving you a little glimpse into kind of the back, like the secret thoughts of what's going on in her brain, right? Also, it's giving a little humor, right? So humor is a sign of somebody who's got a little bit of self-awareness, right? Humor, especially not dark, self-deprecating humor in particular, but just kind of lighthearted humor. It's a sign of self-awareness, and it makes somebody feel like you're probably somebody they can trust. What do all scammers do online? All scammers are very serious. Oh, you can make $1 million online, blah, 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 right? But what experienced marketers do well is they build in humor and creativity into their ads, okay? It seemed, and look, now more than ever, look, we can go through all these ads, we can go through scripts, we can go through all this stuff. If you take one big thing away from today, I want you to take away that now in the current marketplace, people just want to do business with people they like. People they like. People who are fun, who are engaging, who laugh, who make them laugh. That's who people are drawn to. Okay, this is just basic human psychology. All right. Mudasir asks, why can't we just make a group community or make an account? You can make a Facebook group. Yeah, that's fine. But you cannot run ads from a Facebook group. You can't do that. So you actually need a Facebook fan page to do that. Okay. It seemed there was never a good time to go, or we didn't want to spend the money. Then, of course, there was the dogs who would watch them. You name the excuse, we probably used it. This time, things were different. My job had been crazy over the past 4 years due to our company. Now, company probably shouldn't be capitalized here, just giving you a heads up on that. Changing to a new computer system that was not built for the type of billing we provided. I'm going to bring this down. As a result, we were all working overtime in an attempt to keep claims going out and keep money coming in. It was insane, to say the least. I don't even remember the number of hours we put in. I don't even remember the number of hours we put in at the beginning of this endeavor. Now, so Tony, one thing is, I just don't think you would use the phrase of this endeavor, right? So maybe you would, but I don't know a lot of people who would use this in just kind of common talk. So it feels and sounds a little adsy to me. So what I would do is I would say something like, I don't even remember the number of hours we would put in at the beginning so I would say, here's how I would say this. I would say something like, when we were getting started, I don't even remember the number of hours that we would put in, but I can tell you it was a lot. Something like that, okay? Eventually, it slowed to 50 to 55 hours a week. Needless to say, I was burnt out bad. We couldn't get out of town fast enough this time. As I said, it was a simple vacation. We went to Sarasota, Florida, and stayed at the penthouse of a condo in Lido Beach, which is owned by one of our friends' employers. We were convinced at the time that this was the only way we would ever see the inside of a penthouse. Talk about a fun-filled and nice, relaxing time. We did things like wake up every morning to a beautiful ocean, then we'd step out on a balcony to enjoy coffee and watch the boats on the water. Walk along the beach to include going into the ocean about waist deep. I'm not a big fan of being in the lake or ocean water, but I love to be at the beach. Crazy, I know. Spend an afternoon in canoes, exploring, okay, along a dock right there, basically in their backyard. Pretty awesome. Watched a movie in the movie theater at the condo, just 4 of us. Sweet. The whole time we were in Florida, something inside of me was beginning to shift. The status quo of current life was beginning to feel like a crushing weight to my spirit. You see, there's always been a little voice whispering inside my head, Tony, you're letting life pass you by. There's more for you and your family. Now, this is a big moment in her ad. Can you feel that? This statement right here, and if you write ads on social media, you should use phrases like this because this is so powerful. A little voice whispering inside of my head. That's powerful, right? But I always pushed it aside, and I went on with my mundane existence, getting up every day to go to the alarm clock, going to work, coming home to eat dinner, and only spending a little time with my family to rinse and repeat the next day. After all, who was I to think I could do anything different with my life? Interesting. By the time we returned to Wichita, Kansas, our home, the voice was no longer whispering. It was now a full-blown yell. All I could think about was wanting to have more free time with my friends, with my spouse, family, and friends, doing things we really enjoyed, like we experienced for that week in Florida, and truly living a happy and fulfilled life. Yeah, this is money right here. A lot of people would say, having $1 million in the bank or being able to live the laptop lifestyle. And Facebook, their algorithm, pay close attention to this, Their algorithm is geared towards positivity. They will always promote, lift up, and help give more traffic to people who are posting about happiness and living a happy life, right? So, and this not only is that true today, that will become more true in the future as well, because they're coming under heat from regulators about their platform being really divisive, okay? So going back to the everyday grind of things and going to the office was hard to readjust to, and now for the first time my eyes were open to this fact. This work would never give me the freedom of time and money I now long to have. I remember thinking, man, that vacation really broke something inside of me. I'm losing my mind. I think it's just losing like that. Needless to say, I didn't tell anyone what was going on in my head for fear that they would send the men with the white jackets to get me. I had to do something, but what? In the past, I would decide to pay off, I wanted to pay off debt or have a little extra spending money. I would work a second job. The downfall of that was I was still trading my time for money and working 2 jobs, didn't leave much free time for anything else. Not to mention, I would be too exhausted to do anything, even if time wasn't an issue, so a second job was out of the question. What then? Frustration was building and turning into depression. The voice wouldn't stop, and I had no one to turn for the answer. Now, here we go. Up until now, we have a few major pieces of the story. One is a character, and right now the character is facing a pretty big problem, right? What's the problem? The problem is that she's had this kind of soft but subtle voice inside of her head just kind of poking and prodding for years saying, hey, is this really it? Is this really it? And then she has this kind of aha breakthrough moment of seeing, oh my gosh, not only is there so much more to life, that's one thing, but I feel called to more. I feel like I should have more. I want more, right? Okay. So one day in desperation, I had an idea to go online and search for a way to earn on the side. I thought that might just work. So the madness began. I searched endlessly for ways to make this happen, but I was still troubled. The same roadblocks kept coming up. I really had no idea what exactly I was looking for, who to trust. Now I recommend using that line, so she did. That's a great line. I didn't know what I was looking for or who I could trust, right? Until I came across a YouTube channel with videos on ideas for earning extra on the side. Now notice she does a great job of never talking really about money. She's not talking about how I could make 5 figures online or how I could make 6 figures drop shipping, right? She just says earning extra on the side, which is a way to say it without saying the actual words, okay? There was something about this guy that was genuine, and he felt trustworthy, so I watched video after video. It wasn't long before he led me to a short, kind of crazy video about how I could work from home using my laptop to earn on the side and eventually work for myself full time. At first the skeptic in me thought, no way, Tony, don't fall for this. But after watching the whole video, I tried for several days, maybe even a week to shake the feeling that kept coming back to me, the feeling that this was a real opportunity here. This could change mine and my family's lives. That's when it hit me like a ton of bricks. 1 second here, I gotta adjust this. Okay. Oops, hang on. Okay, that's when it hit me like a ton of bricks. There hadn't been anything holding me back from the life I was meant to have except for me. I was the one responsible for where my life ended up at this point. It was time to stop listening to the lies in my head and take responsibility, okay? That's huge. That's really important. Now, notice how she doesn't say, it's time for you to stop blah, 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 and you to stop listening to the lies. This is something called psychological projection, meaning she tells her own story and others who are outside, who are kind of observers, they get to say, man, maybe I need to take responsibility. Maybe this is on me, right? Interesting. That's when I made the decision that I was going to change my life for myself, my family, and anyone else I could help along the way. I remember thinking, it's time, and I'm going to make this a contraction here. It's time for me to become the best version of myself I can possibly be. Now, this is the ultimate. This is the ultimate phrase right here, right? Best version of myself. That's what people are after. It's not the money. The deepest driver for people is really self-actualization, right? The hierarchy of needs. What do people need most? Most? Deepest psychological need? To be fully self-actualized. To live on this planet and feel like you are living at your peak. So I stopped fighting against myself and I started my new journey all because of that one short video. And that's exactly what I've been doing ever since. In fact, before sitting down to write this, my spouse and I were talking about where we would take our first real vacation, and we're thinking maybe Australia. We're excited to begin the planning of this trip, which, if all goes in plans, we'll be taking within the next 18 to 24 months. First of all, Tony, congrats. But second of all, everybody who's new to this game thinks that they need to be billionaires or millionaires or six-figure earners to talk about lifestyle, right? Notice how she frames this. We're going to be taking this awesome trip, and if all goes as planned, in the next 18 to 24 months, we're going to travel to Australia, right? Isn't that wild? This is incredible how she did this. Do you guys catch how subtle and incredible that is? Notice how she's painting a vision for her future before it's even there, and it still carries a lot of power to it. Right? And why does it carry that weight? Why does it carry that power? It's because she's been so real and authentic and transparent throughout this ad. We'll decide between places like Perth or Noosa, where we can enjoy spending time with each other at the beach, or Kangaroo Island, to enjoy some of Australia's most loved animals, sea lions, koalas, and cockatoos. Or maybe we'll end up Rottnest Island, where we can have some fun riding bicycles around the beautiful scenery, watching whales, or going on a hike. But here's what's awesome. While we are in Australia, I will not have to worry about paid time off, since I'll be working full time for myself with my system set up to work around the clock for me. While vacations are great, while vacations are great, the real reward in all of this is the individual growth I'm experiencing along the way, which is leading me to what I have always been longing for. True happiness is a result of living a fulfilled life and helping others do the same. Vacations are just going to be a side perk. Not that I won't enjoy that too. Believe me, I will. It's just not my main goal. And to think, all of this from watching that one crazy video all those months ago. Now, in every story, there's always a character. The character has a problem. The character then finds a guide along the way, okay? And the guide provides a blueprint. And that's what this video is in this ad. The video, that's the guide. That's what people need, right? It scares me to think, what if I would have let the skeptic in me win that battle? I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole of despair. It should just be whole, H-O-L-E, of despair and depression that would have become my life. What I want to do now is offer that same line to you by showing exactly how I'm doing this. The best part, I'd like to share the same video I watched with you and ask you to watch the whole video. Even if the skeptic in you begins steering you away, just as mine tried, keep watching to the end. What do you say? Go ahead and click or tap recently, Tony, I've kind of changed the lingo of this call to action to just saying press. Rather than saying click or tap, you can just say the word press. So that applies to, pushing or clicking or whatever. The learn more button next to my picture, and I'll share it with you. Talk soon, Tony. All right? It's a pretty well-written ad for somebody who's brand new, wouldn't you say? You guys have questions on this? That's really powerful. And she could put almost any affiliate offer behind that. That's a well done. That was really, really incredible. It's really well done. Alexis is very, very nice. Yeah, it's impressive. Let's see. It's not an email ad. She'll post that ad as a Facebook ad. That's going to go on Facebook. She'll post a Facebook ad as that. Yep. Melanie says, I'd press for more. Was that last part not a bit short? Yeah, Xavier, that's good to point out. So, Tony, I would agree with Xavier on this. No, Alexa, this is not too long at all. Glinda says this is so good. Yeah, I would say this is just a little bit short. Where you say the best part, I'd like to share the same video with you, even if the skeptic is you. What do you say? Like I might add just one more kind of paragraph here that just says. So here's maybe what I would say. That one single video really transformed how I look at life and money, or life and my my prospect of the future. And I truly believe it'll do the same for others. You're going to love it. Click, tap the Learn More button in this post to watch it right away. Talk soon. Something like that. Okay, so Brad says, no, it's not too long. Everybody, this is not too long. Everybody assumes that that's a common thing. A lot of people think that this is too long. That's not the case at all. This is pretty long. Okay, this is a pretty long ad. This is somewhere in the range of 1,500 words. So this is one of the longer ads that I've seen, but I have run 1,200 word ads on Facebook and they perform incredible. I get leads for less than $1 per lead. All right. Yeah, you can do it with an image or a video. Neither is better or worse. Usually videos work better, but again, if you're brand new to the game, sometimes doing a video can actually hurt you because you don't have the equipment to make it look incredible, right? So sometimes it's just better to do a selfie style image. No, Anis, no. She's not talking about herself too much. Not at all. People will read this. Everybody, listen up. Everybody, you're thinking that you're stuck in this pattern that no one will listen to you or no one wants to listen to you, or you've responded to so many ads online that you're a little bit numb to it. But you have to remember, a lot of the people who are going to see these ads from her have really never seen an ad like this ever in their life. So for a lot of people, they come in and they're like, wow, I feel like here it is, I feel like I'm reading my own story. So people of the same age as her, people in the same life situation as her, they're gonna say the same thing. Man, I had that vacation and I don't know, I never really felt like I was meant for more. I kind of thought I was lower middle class, but man, when we were there, that felt like home to me, but I don't know how to make that a reality. How do I do that? How do I figure this out? Oh my gosh. It turns out Tony has the same story as me. Maybe I could check it out, right? See that? You get that?